Hello. Welcome to a RocketBot class. Today we're going to be creating our first log. What are logs for? Basically, they're used to establish a history of our robot's execution. That is, so that once the robot finishes running, we can have a description of what happened during its execution. In other words, we're going to add certain commands and configure it in a way so that when we look at it, we know if the robot failed, if it ran successfully, what time it started, what time it finished, and so on. Alright, so let's create a robot. We're going to call it logs in this case. And we're going to do the following. We're going to create the structure of a try-catch. Because remember that what the try-catch does is basically execute what's inside here, and if something fails, in case it fails, it goes down here. It's not like an if statement where it executes either this or that. No, in this case, it executes this part, and if something fails, it runs what's down here. So, first we're going to do the following. We're going to open a browser. Chrome in this case, it's going to be www.mercadolibre.cl. We're going to open Mercado Libre. We're going to check that it opens correctly. Perfect! It opened correctly. What we're going to do, basically, is close it for now. We're going to click on it. We're going to enter anything because the idea is for it to fail, and after that we're going to close the browser. Alright, so remember, you come here, run this. If it fails, it will execute what's inside here. Since this first command isn't going to fail, we've forced the second one to fail. So what we're basically going to do is set up the first command in our catch block, where in this case, we're going to open the RocketBot last status and here the error variable, which if we haven't created it yet, we'll create it. Alright. Okay, to continue with this, what we need to keep in mind is that here we obtained the error. So, if we run let's see, here is the error variable. We're going to get the following. It runs, and since it fails, we're going to get the error status. Notice that the error status has a message. What we're going to get is the status and the message. So, let's create those two variables. Let's name them status and message. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and create a category called logs to keep everything here. Alright, now as we said, we need to get the error, status, and message. Notice that it's a dictionary, and since it's a dictionary, we need to do the following to get the information inside it. So, we go to error, open curly braces. We open curly braces, there it is, and we put single quotes, status, because that's what we want to get, and we're going to assign this to the status variable, which we've already created, and we'll do the same with message. Remember that message, here we're going to write message, but in English it's called message. Alright, so if I run this and I run this, what I'm basically going to get is exactly the same as what's here, but in separate variables. Okay, why do I want to do this? Because what I want to do is basically run a command and have it leave these messages inside a file, basically a log. So, how do we do this? Alright. So, what we need to do is the following. We go to Files, Save Text, in this case, and we're going to set a path, which in this case I'll select one that's right here. OK. We're going to set append and we're going to put status, the word, and the variable in curly braces, because if not, it won't recognize it. And the same with message. We're going to put error message, because this is where the error occurred, remember. Sorry. Here it's message. Perfect. We're going to add a line break so it doesn't write everything together. And now I need to set both the start date and the end date, right? Because that's something I want to know. So let's go up here to System, right at the top, and do the following. We're going to set datetime.now, in this case, basically for the current date, the one when the robot runs, .stuffTime. Basically, this is to give it to set a style, a format, double quotes, and let's start. How do I want the format? Alright, first I want the day, dash, the month, dash, the year, right? Then, separately, I want the hour, colon, the minutes, colon, and the seconds. Here, I think it's capital M, capital A. OK, and here I close the quote and add parentheses. Alright, so here I'm going to put date_start. And if I run it, I'll get exactly what I set up. Alright, here what I need to do is basically take save_text, same thing, I save it in the one I already created. No. I will put append here, and in this particular place, I am going to write down the robot start date. Date_start. I close the braces and do the same to close, right? The robot, remember. So, what I need to do is basically copy this command. I'm going to send it way down to the very bottom. Not start date. Now we're going to put date_end. For the same reason. And we're going to write the message, but here instead of robot end date. End sounds a bit weird, but anyway, you get the idea. Alright, and we're going to close the browser because we have to remember, we always need to close it before finishing any task. Alright, so let's run everything completely and let's execute. We'll see that it opens the browser with the page. But remember, it's going to fail here. It can't find the element, it types, closes the browser, end date, writes the text, and now let's check the results. Good. So, if we come here, open this, what we have is the following. If you look, right here we have exactly that. Start date, the error. Well, I hope this was helpful to you, the end date. I hope this class was useful for you and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much.